Mr. Femi Hamzat joins us now. He's the Commissioner of Works, Lagos State, to look at state of roads. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
You had the Minister, let's start with roads in Lagos because that's what we want to concentrate, being the Commissioner of Works here in Lagos. The Apapa Oshodi Expressway, we also showed clips of all of that, and he did say, well, a couple of times, even though the state government would come into some of these roads, they wouldn't want to reimburse because of the shoulder nature that the states have done. He didn't mention Lagos, but are there roads that the state has taken up that, well, you await reimbursement from the federal government?
Yes, a lot. I found that statement interesting because about 3 years ago, they set up a committee, federal government set up a committee of engineers, auditors, and the rest, and they went around the states. They came to Lagos. We gave them the list of all the federal roads that we've done. They went there, we went together. They are engineers. You can, you know, he mentioned the procurement. Road building is not just about procurement. So that's a different process. People can see a road that is built. You can measure it. We're all engineering students one time. You can actually do deep boring. You can know the depth. You can do the base cost, everything. So it's there. It's something that is static, and you can see. So that's what they did. We submitted a bill of 59 billion based on all the roads that we've done. They came back and said 51 billion. But till today, they've not paid a dime. Now, that's what's affecting the building of our own inner roads. But the truth is, if you don't do Funshaw Williams, if you don't do a corridor road, if you don't do a co-bridge, how will people move around the state, get into the inner roads? Right now, we are fixing the expansion joints, 33 of them on Eco Bridge. That bridge could collapse if we don't maintain it. It's costing us about 500 million naira. So are we going to say because federal government is not going to do it? We did the study in 2010. All the bridges in Lagos, what is their state? We brought in experts. They look at it, and then we submitted the report to Federal Ministry of Works. So they know, the report is there, about 300 pages. And nothing has been done. Should we just wait? So we are fixing those right now. I think we've done about 19 of them. We are on the 21st and 20th. So by the time we do all those 33 expansion joints, we will then do the bearing. The bearing is broken. So doing the bearing involves lifting the bridge because the bearing holds majority. So then we fix the bearing and that's it. Then in another 15, 20 years, we are fine. We are studying the Papa Bridge. We will start that, but we can't do everything at one time because that will lead to congestion. So I found it interesting that you will say that 51 billion, and that's not just Lagos. We've applied, they've promised us, okay, we pay 10 billion this year, we pay nothing. So it's amazing that we are in this state.
You know, one wonders why this is so, because he also has an interesting perspective to that. He said if they had the money at that point in time, they would have readily fixed it. So perhaps, is there any discussion between the state government and the federal government on when such monies will be paid?
Well, there are discussions, but let's look at the fundamental problem. When the revenue of the comes into the federal government, okay, the federal government takes 56%. Then 2% for ecology, 1% for federal capital territory. That comes to 59%. So 41% is distributed between the 36 states and then the 774 local government. Now, you can see that the majority of the resources goes to federal government. So if they now say they don't have the resources, it's amazing. Now, we spoke about Apapa. Around the world, the port takes care of about, depending, in some cases 10 kilometers, in some cases 15 radius of the port. How much did the Nigerian NPA generate last year? About 1.3 trillion. But you can't fix the roads. 80% of containers that come into this country comes through those roads. It is a miracle that our roads are in that state, in Apapa, because the axle load is sinful. Okay, so everywhere you move your, by rail. There's a rail there in Apapa. We went there with the ministers. The governor, myself, the Commissioner for Transport. We invited the Minister for Finance, Planning, and everybody. We all went there. There's a rail there built by the colonial masters. Why can't we fix it? To actually move it's still there. And so it's truly amazing that we do this to ourselves.
That's on the one hand, but again, for Lagosians, they would want to know what exactly is happening with the state of roads in Lagos. The moment we ask people to bring questions, loads and loads of questions for different areas of the state. Speaking generally, before we look at some specifics, how well have you done in terms of road construction?
Well, Lagos has 9,199 roads. Now that can increase because as people move into communities, road actually follow them. We've not done everything. We've not done all the 9,000. Now, out of that 199 roads, about 18% of them belongs to federal government, about 36 belongs to state government, the rest is local government. But the reality is that given what I said in terms of distribution, the local government truly cannot fix roads. Truly. I'm not the local government chairman, so I'm not speaking for them. But I understand what it takes to build a road.
So have you been fixing the local government roads?
So we are fixing the local government road because it is within the state. So what we need to do is to come together as a people, like they did in Pakistan, and say, look, who should be fixing these roads? Let federal government just hands off. Let the state fix, and then redistribute it. It's amazing that people say, well, there's no statistics or data that suggests that the state government can fix the road. In Lagos today, between 2011 to now, we've done 396 roads. And now, about 80 of those are not roads that we should do. The federal roads, we are patching. You mentioned Lagos Abeokuta. It is us that goes there to fix it. It's not, but we can't just leave it and let it collapse. We've been there many times with the federal government. And you know, Lagos is a state that is 2 meters below sea level on the average. Now, it doesn't make sense for me to go and do Old Ota Road, for example, if we don't fix Lagos Abeokuta. You know why? Old Ota discharges water into Lagos Abeokuta. We've said that when it was built as a rural road, that is no drains. So we convinced Federal Ministry of Works, we went there together, they were able to see that all the adjoining roads depends on it. Therefore, we need to build the drains. They started, but it's been 3 years now, it's not completed. So if I build Old Ota Road and it discharges water, it washes away Old Abeokuta. So building this road means that we must look at your geography, look at the traffic bearing capacity of these roads. Therefore, that's how we select Road A and not Road B. Because if you build Road A instead of B, it will wash off in 2 years.
Yeah, but a lot of people complain that work is slow. I mean, in some cases, you do take on these jobs, but in some cases, you don't deliver on time. For instance, the Lekki-Ajah Expressway has been on for a while. How soon do you think that road will be delivered?
Well, you know, I told you, I did engineering. I'm an engineering student. When I was in university, I never saw concrete as an engineering student. My interest in building road is how to build capacity. I care about when it is finished, but it's not the most important. So we're building a rail now. When was the last road built in this country? 1906. So we are building rail from Okokomaiko to Maria. Most times, we actually stop it to bring students to come and see how it's done. It's not just how long do we continue to use foreigners to build that road. We will never develop. So sometimes we stop those roads. We are building Lagos Badagry to 10 lanes. We are doing compaction tests. Students, a lot of our students don't know how to do it. We all read it in classes. I read it too. But how do you do it? So sometimes we stop the roads to say, look, we bring students from LASU. I think we brought about 17 schools. And on those, we stop it.
So you're complementing education, the education sector, yes, almost like what you have in teaching hospitals. Is that what
Something
you're doing?
Like that, yes. Because you see, like I said, the challenge we have in engineering in our country is that students don't get to see. And what you don't see is always a problem. I'll give you an example. When we were building the Lekki-Ikoyi link bridge, we needed 700 welders to do welding. And they brought in people, did some tests. Julius Bala said we need to test them to make sure they can do the right thing. We were turning 300 millimeter steel. We're turning it 90 degrees. That is a subject of PhD, the heat transfer analysis there. There are only 8 machines that can do that in the world. They brought 2 to Nigeria. And I said, wait a minute. This is something that our students should see. So we sponsored people, come and do your PhD, come and do your master's and so. But that's not the issue. The issue is we could not find the welders to do the job. Therefore, our vocational school, now what would have happened? The said, well, we'll go and bring people from Togo because there are welders there. And I said, no. So I went to the governor and said, sir, we might have to delay this project. If we have to wait for 4 months, we will do other things. But from 4 months, let's go and train. How long does it take to? So the vocational school tells us that they can train people if they come in 4 or 5 months. And that's what we did. So we got those 700, we were able to build. Now, those guys, those welders today, I didn't know that oil companies require welders like that. Now, some of them are 500,000 naira a month.
You know, what Malcolm raised is quite key here. Yes. Apart from this, which is novel, some other places, the Ikpaja-Ayobo axis is another area. When we talk about road that has been there for some time, first the story was about the pipelines, and secondly it was about the rains. What can you tell the people of that locality?
Yes, what for us, the Ikpaja-Ayobo road, we have a major problem, and the major problem is the pipelines. Now, you will notice that in Ijegun we had fire. We don't want that to happen. Now, there is a pipeline road right in front of the gate. That pipeline road means actually that there are gas pipelines there
in front of the Abison gate.
In front of there are 4 sets of pipes, 50 meters apart. We've measured, we've seen that. But nobody has the as-built drawing. NNPC don't have it. So I don't know the depth. Therefore, instead of using machines, they have to use their hand. Now, in order to now, so what we agree with NNPC is we need to do concrete to cover it up so that under any situation, nothing will happen. But they have to certify it. I've been to NNPC office about 4 times in Abuja. And going there to do meeting is always like pulling teeth. So we go there, finally we got the approval, but it took us about 6 months. Now, the same thing when you are moving pylons. When you are moving pylons on the road, like Lagos, even you will notice that there is a road by the estate that we sort of abandoned. It's a federal road. We now said, okay, we shouldn't touch it, no problem. We have to bypass it, but there are pylons. We cannot go and eat the pylons. We don't want to remove the pylons because it will take a year. So that's why you see us moving away. But we need approval from the federal government. So we are interacting with various agencies that are not in our control. And we cannot just do things anyhow. So we cannot, because building of roads, destroy something else. So our challenge at that place is that pipeline. But like I said, it's been resolved now. They've given us the approval. Now, but again, it's their contractor that will do the casing. We are paying for it, but that's our agreement. There is a contractor that they actually give us to do. So those are the type of challenges we face. If everything is under our control, that would have been done about a year ago.
Are you having challenges?
No, sorry,
roads?
What word can we get from you now with all this explanation? Because the people have all sent messages. What should they expect now that has been taken care of?
Well, I'm hoping that we can push that their contractor. Like I said, it's a contractor given to us. It's not a contractor that I select that I know. So NNPC says, well, in order to do this, we've designed, we've agreed, this is how it should be, but these are lists of our contractors. And then we took one. And then, so we are hopeful that the agreement that we have that they will do it in 8 weeks will stay 8 weeks. If it stays 8 weeks, then we can move on the road. In another 2 months, we should be able to finish.